All right. Good afternoon, Miss Wanda. I am sorry to have kept you waiting. Today was quite a day for technical difficulties, but we appreciate you for being here. Um, and we're going to record this as well, but I will get started just because we have obviously taken some of your time today. So, one, I just want to say good afternoon and happy Women's History Month to everyone out there. My name is Camron Lipford. I am the youth coordinator with North Carolina Families United, and I just want to thank you all for joining us. And also, if you're just listening to to the recording later, just want to thank you for giving us your time. And to let you know today that this webinar is dedicated to honoring the incredible contributions that women have made in the mental health field, right from advocacy to policy to direct care and research. So as we reflect today, I just want to explore how women have shaped mental health awareness, created safe space for healing, and paved the way for youth families and to receive the support for youth and families to receive the support they need. Now, this is not going to be a very long presentation today, but just wanted to shed light on women's history as we are in Women's History Month in mental health, right? What's important to us. So I'm going to share the presentation here that I have with y'all, and then we're going to watch a little 5-minute video and continue talking from there. But let me make sure all right. And Heather, can you guys see on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why it's not. Is it full screen for you?
No, we can see like your slide deck on the left-hand side. There you go.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, you guys just see the slides, right?
Correct.
All right. Cool, guys. I feel sometimes like I don't know what I'm doing with technology myself. Takes a lot, but once again, just wanted to say welcome, and we're gonna get into the little bit of information I do have to share with you guys today. All right, so a lot of you may know, right, that the historical treatment not only for women being in the mental health field or just really receiving mental health care themselves was not very inclusive, not very good. If many of you know or have heard of hysteria, right? Something that I'm sure we all have. It was used as a negative connotation more than anything. Um, and basically, it was like saying, right, that our feelings didn't matter, that they didn't make any sense. And so they just labeled it hysteria. Now, hysteria came from the Greek word hystera, which meaning uterus, reflecting the mistaken belief that mental health issues were caused by the female body itself, right? Harmful ideas reinforced with stereotypes, dismissing women's experiences, and delayed real understanding of mental health. Hysteria was not just a label, though; it had real consequences, right? Women were often institutionalized, subject to invasive treatment, or ignored altogether by medical professionals. Um, I can only imagine, how that feels, and I know that we still have, unfortunately, some effects of this, and sometimes see this, in the doctors and going to mental health and things like that. Not obviously labeled as hysteria, right? But still in other ways. And while the term hysteria is no longer really used in medicine, the legacy of those misconceptions, like stated, they still impact women's mental health today. So we continue to fight against that stigma and ensure women's voices are heard and provide family driven, youth guided care that centers the lived experiences of those seeking support. Um, with that being said, right, we have come a long way. So women have played a major role in shaping modern care, right? Many contributions, though, just like with many things and other people that have created things, right? They were overlooked or really unrecognized. So today we're going to honor those who have changed the system. With that being said, I do just have a little 5-minute YouTube video to share just a little bit about women's history and mental health, and then I'll go into talking about some of those things that we are women that have made those changes in the past, right? So let me get the video ready for you all. All right. Oh, actually, hold on. I don't think the sound is working. Let me fix that. Like I said, y'all, today has been a day for technical difficulties. So let me make sure that sound. Now should we try that again? All right.
All right, looks like we are live. Happy Thursday, loves. If this is your first time checking out my Facebook Live, thank you so much for checking it out. My name is Danny LeBerry. I'm a virtual licensed psychotherapist and a happiness transformation coach. So I typically work with people who are feeling unfulfilled, unhappy, overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out, maybe a little down. Each month I do a different topic, three different Facebook Lives. And last week I did a Facebook Live on Social Work Month. We have a lot of different things going on for the month of March. Social Work Month. Tonight's Facebook Live is on women's history. And next week's Facebook Live is on self harm awareness. So let's jump right in. So, women in mental health and emotions. Most of these mental health care professionals, just keep in mind, they were not allowed to vote, they were not allowed to hold office, but they still changed healthcare in major, major ways. So, my first person that I want to bring up is Melanie Klein. She was from about 1882 to about 1960. She was the founder of Kleinian psychoanalysis, and she was the first mental health professional to really look at children and to consider analyzing children. And the way that she developed that was through child therapy, using toys as a way to really see communication, intention, and neurosis of children. Someone else that I wanted to bring up tonight was Mamie Phipps Clark, PhD. She's actually Dr. Mamie Phipps. She was the first Black woman to receive a doctorate in psychology from Columbia University. She dedicated much of her life to offering psychological support to Americans of color. She counseled homeless Black girls, battled segregation in academia, and she advocated for to make mental health accessible to more of Americans' most vulnerable individuals. And the last person that I wanted to bring on was Uta Frith. Frith's work has made it possible to understand dyslexia, autism, and Asperger's syndrome. So on the topic of mental health, some timeless ways to manage unpleasant emotions, I wanted to give 4 simple, to the point, short and sweet tips of managing unpleasant emotions. So, one is acknowledge when you're not feeling great. So, for example, notice if, for instance, you're waiting for someone at a restaurant or to eat, and you notice your thoughts. You notice thoughts of, geez, they always have me waiting. Observe your thoughts and your actions. Notice when you're not feeling great. Allow yourself to feel your emotions is the second one. Don't judge yourself for your emotions. Also, don't dwell on your emotions either. So allow yourself to feel those emotions, and then after a certain point, picking yourself up by the bootstraps and making sure that you're not sitting in it and dwelling in it. My third tip is expressing your emotions in a healthy way. Cry if you need to. Jot down your thoughts if you need to. Release the tension. I personally love stretching. I love yoga. I like to work out, exercising, talking to others, but being careful who you choose to confide in. Sometimes, if we try to confide in our family or our friends, they could be judgmental or they could be biased. So, acknowledge when you're not feeling great, allow yourself to feel those emotions, express your emotions in a healthy way, and understanding that positive and negative emotions are essential. I actually, when I'm working with my clients, I actually tell them I'm not a proponent of things being good or bad, right or wrong. I look at more at, is it serving you or not serving you? Is it bringing you closer to your goals or further away from your goals? Because here's the thing, emotions are fleeting. I like to look at emotions as energy in motion. So sometimes we kind of look at sadness as bad or anger as bad. We look at these kinds of emotions as bad, but there are no good or bad emotions. It's that they're pleasant or unpleasant. When you feel unpleasant emotions, that could actually be a sign, that may be a signal that things either need to change with you or things need to possibly change with your environment. So, if watching this Facebook Live helped you in any way, as I always say, please feel free to share this Facebook Live. Just so you know what I have coming up, some events going on. Every Sunday, for the last few Sundays, my boyfriend and I have been leading a book club group series on Don Miguel Ruiz and Don Jose Ruiz's Fifth Agreement. It's a free book club every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 7:30. Feel free to join. It's online. It's via Zoom. And it's really awesome because it really helps to break down any of those core beliefs that you may still be operating by and not realizing. If you notice that you're feeling in a funk or you're not really sure what to believe in, I noticed that with everything going on in the last year or so, people are finding themselves a little lost, disconnected, not really sure what to believe in themselves anymore. And so this book really breaks things down and really flips your perspective and your perception completely upside down. So consider joining. It's every Sunday, 6 p.m. to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you are watching this Facebook Live and you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is Dani, D-A-N-I, at DaniLaberry.com. Thank you so much again for checking out my Facebook Live. Again, my name is Dani Laberry. I'm a virtual licensed psychotherapist and a happiness transformation coach. And I will see you on the next Facebook Live. Take care of yourself and have a great night.
All right, yeah, I love Dani, y'all. Y'all go check her out, like she's on her Facebook and YouTube as well. She shares a lot of great information, and she's licensed as well. But just a little snippet into what I'm going to go into about some of the women that have truly made a difference in the history of mental health, right? So let me pull mine. But with that being said, not only making the history, but kind of where we're at now too, right? Knowing that women make up a large portion of the mental health workforce now, which historically those leadership roles, right, were dominated by men. And so that's awesome to know that that is now what we see. Even though I will say, in my personal opinion, I do believe now there definitely needs to be more men back in mental health. And I mean, just like with the teaching in the schools, I remember not having a lot of male teachers, right? So having that representation is important. So that is very much needed. And let me play from here. Slide 7. So yeah, so historically those leadership roles were dominated by men, and we know that, like kind of how she talked about, women face barriers like limited education access, gender and racial discrimination. Despite this, they made lasting contributions, right? So some of the pioneers, kind of like how she was talking about for women's mental health. So the first one I have here to talk about is Miss Nellie Bly. She is responsible for being in, well, not responsible. She's an investigative journalist. Her main role or impact was in advocacy and system reform, right? She went undercover in a psychiatric hospital, which when she was able to expose abuse and neglect towards women, led to reforms and better funding when it comes to mental health. The next one that she kind of already touched on, right, was Anna Freud, child mental health, right, the founder of child psychoanalysis, focused on how children develop emotionally and helped create child-centered therapy approaches. And then Elizabeth Kübler-Ross, grief and healing. She developed the 5 stages of grief, right, changed how society understands death and loss, used in counseling, healthcare, and support groups. And then we have Miss Marsha Linehan. She was most importantly known for her modern treatment innovation. She created dialectical behavior therapy, which helps people with suicidal thoughts and emotional regulation challenges. And it's based off both science and lived experience. And, especially for us in a nonprofit, we know how important lived experience is. And then last but not least, we have Miss Margaret Morgan Lawrence, was responsible, right, for the racial barriers, like she talked about, first Black woman psychiatrist in the U.S., focused on children in underserved communities, advocated for culturally competent care. So those are just a few of the women that are in the known for their impact on the mental health system, right? So outside of that, I mean, what have women done to the mental health system as a whole, right? Not just for women and not just because they are women, but the overall impact was improved mental health care system, introduced therapies that are still used today, right? Increased awareness of trauma, grief, and child development, also inspired future generations of providers, right? So with that being said, and just understanding that, everyone starts somewhere, and even though we all start maybe at a different starting line, we all have the same finish line as well. We can all get there. We can all make an impact, especially when it comes to mental health and, breaking that stigma. But just wanted to shine light, for Women's History Month, just on the huge impact that women have made, will continue to make, and then how, whether, woman, man, whatnot, you can support and also make an impact. So that being said, I do just want to leave you guys with just some words of encouragement, some call to action, basically, right? So if y'all look at these, I'm not going to read them all, but just even like the first one, be the voice that challenges stigma, right? Be the person who listens, advocates, and creates change, just like Nellie, Marsha, Margaret, all of them, right? The future of mental health starts with all of us. And you don't have to be famous to make a difference. I hope that doesn't get lost here, right? Check on your friends, speak up, learn about mental health, and don't be afraid to challenge what isn't right. And then, like she said, make sure you are actively seeking out proactive activities to do with other people, friends, or even just a community you build on your own to, know about your mental health, understand it, know the things that can help you, know the things that can hurt you. It's good to be knowledgeable, and then just being able to share that information with everyone. So, like I said, today was definitely not going to be a long webinar, and I had some technical difficulties, so had to pivot a little bit, but I appreciate you, those that were able to make it. And at this time, if you guys want to come off and introduce yourselves or, have any questions or just conversation, I'd appreciate that. And just lastly saying, we're always looking for people to come present on our webinars for us, whatever work you may be doing. If you would just reach out, would be interested in that, or even if you just want to share, like I said, your story or about yourself or what you do, we're definitely open for that as well. We have contact forms on our website, and social media sites as far as being able to sign up for those things, or you can just reach out to any of us here at North Carolina Families United. Um, and then here is just my contact information, my email address, and our website. And if you go on our website, it has all of our contact information, has a form submission you can fill out. I encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter, because that's where you'll get all of our up-to-date information on events, these monthly webinars, and all that other good stuff. Okay. I'll stop sharing for now. Oh, there we go. All right. Miss Clary and Miss Connie, I see y'all in here, but once again, I just want to appreciate y'all for coming. And like I said, you're welcome to come off mute, or if you don't have anything, you can you're welcome to leave. If you want to leave your contact information in the chat, that'd be fine as well. And Heather, if we don't get anything, we'll just end that at 12:40, okay? That's my goal. My goal. Awesome. And with that being said, too, Miss Connie or Miss Wanda, we do need a speaker for next month. We haven't had anybody sign up yet. So if you all would love to speak or know somebody that might want to, that would be great as well. Information in the chat. All right. I'll go ahead and end it. Just want to thank you so much again. And this will be on our website as well.